Hi friends, and welcome back to playing tribute to Ace Attorney Dual Destinies, where we are coming to the end of the monstrous turnabout. Last trial day, at least I think it's last trial day, we have all of our answers, minus the whole flying through the air and, okay, we don't have all of our answers. We just know who did it. We just don't know how he did it yet and what's going on. So, let's just jump into it and get ourselves started on it, shall we? That took a weirdly long time to load. Okay. Oh, we don't even get to talk in the defendant lobby. We're just there. The prosecutor's there that time. I think he had his bird on his shoulder. Court is back in session for the trial of Damien Tenma. Apollo Justice, defense team leader, is ready, Your Honor. Athena Sykes, assistant defender, is ready too, Your Honor. Jésus Pré. It's chipper as ever, I see, and in French no less. And the prosecution? It's shackled again. Thank goodness. Very well. By the way, I asked Detective Fulbright to provide sturdier shackles today. There will be no more of your funny business this time, Prosecutor Blackwell. Now your opening statement, if you would. I believe it's standard procedure for the prosecution to handle it. Looks like the judge is really bringing it today. He probably realized how Blackwell played him. And that was one mean game of Simon Says. Yeah, His Honor has to fight to defend his honor today. Baldness. It's plain to see that you've always dreamed of delivering an epic opening statement. I have. I don't know if I'd say that. It's playing you again, Your Honor. Of course you have. I saw it in your eyes the last time you gave the opening statement. That was the look of one who yearns deeply for the thrill of an epic opening statement. For decades now, you have been watching opening statements from your bench. They were the crown jewels of the court. The one thing you could not possess. The crown jewels of the court. Now, at long last, they are within your grasp. How could you possibly refuse? So you don't mind if I do it then? I'll make a special exception, just this once. Here we go again. Yep, more of Blackwell's mind games. Oh, well, in that case, I think I might go ahead and make the opening statement myself. In yesterday's session, we learned the shocking truth that the victim ultimate in Rex Cube was the Amazing Ninetales. We also learned that the Amazing Ninetales was a key figure in the yokai craze and the anti-merger protests. It was further revealed that upon learning Rex Cube's secret identity, Mayor Damien Tenma murdered him. The fact that the crime took place in a tightly locked room was also brought to light, and the only people in that tightly locked room were the defendant and the victim. The defense proposed the existence of a hypothetical third party, but further investigation revealed no proof of a third party who had escaped the room. Ergo. Well, we must conclude that the evidence against the defendant is, well, conclusive. This is why the judge shouldn't give the opening statement, because he's saying what the prosecution is saying. Gah! Did I say something wrong? That was quite astonishing. You've truly outdone yourself this time. Oh, one more thing to post about with my grandchild. Well, this was not an unexpected turn of events. Now then, it seems the prosecution has called a new witness to testify. Ah, are we finally gonna talk to LaBelle? The inexplicable yokai evidence left at the scene of the crime. Oh no. He's gonna bring up Jinxie. Does that not demand some sort of explanation? Feathers and tracks. Feathers and tracks. Feathers and tracks. Weren't those left by the mayor while he was possessed? It was but an act to protect his daughter. Oh, yes, of course. I had suspected as much. Wait, Did he actually believe the mayor's award-winning performance? His daughter was the one who planted the yokai evidence. Ergo, the true identity of the yokai in the manor was the manor's maid, Jinxie Tenma.
Objection!
The prosecution is engaging in mere conjecture. Would you care for some witness testimony, then? For I'm ready to prove that little scamp's the one behind the Tenmataro farce. Witness testimony? I'll bet he needs Filch and that creep LaBelle. Okay, so he is going to call LaBelle to the stand, not Jinxie. Very well then. Bailiff, would you bring in the first witness? Alright, Filch first, though. Mr. Filch, you made quite the hasty exit yesterday. I see that it doesn't happen again today. I've been known for my hasty retreats since I was a kid. A bit of a trademark of mine. Indeed. You managed to give a total of 5 bailiffs the slip. Wow, this is impressive. Like those amateurs could ever nab me. Apes! Perhaps we should shackle you by the neck. That would keep you in place. Apes! No, please, I'm liable to rip my own head off if I start running. Your statement, now. Yes, sir, Mr. Blackhead, sir. He may be at a hasty retreat, but there's no escaping Prosecutor Blackwell. Yeah, Blackwell doesn't strike me as the give-up-easy type. Now for Mr. Filch, your testimony, please. Specifically, the true nature of yokai you saw in the manor shortly after the crime. Tenmataro is really that little maid girl. Ain't no doubt about it. I mean, that Tenmataro I saw was just a little thing about her size. But the little runt had a big old staff. I seen her when she came into the foyer. I imagine she stole from the Forbidden Chamber after stumbling on the crime scene. She was gonna use it to wallop me in the account of my fierce reputation. I just know it! So, Tenmataro was short in stature. And that's because he was Miss Jinxie Tenma all along. You betcha! Besides, all the rest of the manor were way taller than her. Feigning height is but an easy thing. But a big ox like the defendant could never pass for short. What if Tenmataro impersonator was working on their knees? We're no knee walking, I see him myself. And perhaps the yokai really was Miss Tenma after all. All monsters are not by tricks, either of the mind or the cheap parlor variety. So you're saying she created an illusion like one of those magical eye things? Precisely. Human senses are easily deceived. Take the fellow in the cell next to me. Each night he cries and screams about some ghost he thinks he sees. But in truth, it was simply the janitor. Oh, Prosecutor Blackwell just gave up the ghost, literally. The janitor's deathly complexion and all-white attire are, no doubt, partially to blame. That and the fact that he constantly mutters about taking vengeance for this or that. That actually sounds like a real ghost to me. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. Okay, I have a problem with the fact that he knows that the staves were in the Forbidden Chamber. But I don't think I have any evidence to prove that he shouldn't know about the Forbidden Chamber.
Hold it!
Let's ask more about the staff. Well, you're not going to brush it all off by claiming the perp was short. Must have hit a raw nerve, because you ain't that tall yourself. Look what's talking, Mr. I've got to stand on a box just to testify. Anyway, Mr. Filch, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't you say that Tenmataro you saw had a staff? Crossing my heart, hope to die. I know, because it went a jingle and a jangle. And where did you suppose that staff came from? The staff, you say? Well, Oh, and this is his tell, too.
Hold it!
I suppose you mean to say that Jinxie Tenma entered the Forbidden Chamber to get one. Well, I ain't never seen a staff like that in the manor, so it had to be in the Forbidden Chamber. Oh, really? The central bell is thick in the air today. Jinxie entered the Forbidden Chamber after the incident. And then she took the staff and tried to cover up her actions by pretending to be Tenma Taro. Guess that's what Filch is trying to say. Oh, after the incident. Okay, nobody could have entered there after the incident because the key was swallowed. Jinxie have even entered the Forbidden Chamber if she wanted to? No, she could not have. There is one thing I was wondering about. Why did that yokai have stuff in the first place? Well, I've got my hunches about that. Right, yes. Sphere interpretation. Okay. So this is my evidence for it. Swallowed after...
Objection!
Yeah. Because this was... I feel like we've used this argument a few times already, so... Yeah. It seemed that Tenma Taro was, in fact, not this innocent little girl. Huh? How do you figure that? You claim that Tenma Taro you saw had one of those staves from the Forbidden Chamber, but it would have been impossible for Ms. Tenma to get a hold of one. Care to elaborate, Mr. Justice? The mayor swallowed this key shortly after the murder. He wanted to keep the killer out of the Forbidden Chamber. What's this? This key was deep in the mayor's stomach when Miss Tenma discovered the crime scene. So you see, it would have been impossible for her to get into the Forbidden Chamber. In short, the Tenma Taro seen holding that staff could not have been Jinxie Tenma. Oh, I've already flustered him. What? But... Then who does the defense believe was impersonating Tenma Taro? Our Tenma Taro impersonator is none other than Mayor Tenma's aide.
Objection!
Such accusations beg evidence. Aside from his ghastly appearance, can you prove he is the yokai we seek? Yes, in fact, I can. Very well, let's see where the defense is going with this. Mr. Justice, please show us proof as the true identity of Tenma Taro impersonator. Is it the soap? Or the lotion, or whatever it is? This. Because it was in the Forbidden Chamber? We found this hand cream in the Forbidden Chamber, and we know that whoever was Tenma Taro took one of the staves out of there. In short, I believe whoever this hand cream belongs to is the yokai impersonator we're looking for. Mr. Justice, how would you propose the identity of the hand cream's owner? I'm glad you asked, Your Honor. The defense requests a fingerprint analysis on this piece of evidence. It might tell us who it belongs to. I don't even think you need that. It's proof enough that it is his brand. He won't let anyone else use it. Interesting. So you expect to find the yokai's prints there? Very well. I hereby call a short recess while we wait for the fingerprint results. No need for that, Your Boldness. We have the prints on everyone in the manor that day. You called, Prosecutor Blackwell! Could anyone be more whipped? Fulbright, analyze this for prints. You have 3 minutes. Your wish is my command! Well then, I guess we'll just wait right here. It would seem the fingerprint analysis is complete. What did the results show? What in the world? They're Florent Labelle's prints, aren't they? This is absurd. Prosecutor Blackwell, I'm not going to like this, am I? Don't tell me. They're Tenma Taro's prints. Fingerprint analysis has revealed that the prints belong to Phineas Filch.
Objection!
Wait, what? What? I love how he shouted objection before he said that. Then Mr. LaBelle wasn't the one who entered the Forbidden Chamber?
Objection!
Why, you tricksy little tanuki. Explain yourself now. Sure, the prints are mine. I mean, I did pilfer that hand cream from Mr. LaBelle after all. So you're the one who entered the Forbidden Chamber. So what if I did? Got a problem with it? Yipes! You full of a tanuki. Order! Order! Mr. Justice, care to explain what this could mean? Excellent question. The fact that Mr. Filch was in the Forbidden Chamber... Wait a second. Does this mean the Tenmataro holding that staff was Phineas Filch? Yipes! Another cat out of the bag! Mr. Filch is Tenmataro? I don't understand. Does this mean Mr. Filch is the real killer? The witness will explain himself this instant. Begging your pardon, your honorship, but I was just doing what the alderman told me. He wanted me to be Tenmataro in the village exorcism ritual. Oh, you mean that event at the Nine Tails Veil Festival? So that was you inside the Tenmataro costume. Yep, and after the event I went to watch that pro wrestling program. But it bored me to tears on account of the wrestlers being complete jabbers. So he didn't actually watch the entire wrestling match. That's when I looked in the Tenmataro costume and got a great idea. Nobody can tell it's me while I'm wearing it. And because of them superstitions, no matter what I do, the villagers won't say a thing. In other words, you use the superstitions to effectively render yourself invisible. Why did you want to enter the Forbidden Chamber in the first place? Because of the treasure there. Thought that was my big chance to sneak on in and nab it. Treasure. Greatest get-rich-quick chance in the universe. Amazing treasure in there. He went in there not knowing his grandfather had already pilfered it. Guess that's one tale that didn't get passed down from grandpappy to grandson. Wait, how exactly did you get into the Forbidden Chamber? There was a meeting in the Fox Chamber that day. Plus the mayor swallowed the only key that could open the Forbidden Chamber's door. You couldn't have possibly gotten in. I could through the air vent in the foyer. The vent's left of the alderman's picture. I went in and made a nice little hole. Used that to get in the air duct that leads to the Forbidden Chamber, I did. You what? But how's that even possible? Wait a sec. Remember that air vent in the Forbidden Chamber? So Mr. Filch found a way to get into that air duct. And that's how he got from the foyer vent to the Forbidden Chamber vent? So Tenmataro was nothing more than a cat burglar, or rather a tanuki burglar. And we're back to being without anyone to charge for the alderman's murder. Looks like our so-called yokai is nothing more than one big troublemaker. Tell me, Mr. Filch, what did you do after fleeing to the foyer? I got out of that costume right quick. Would have just caused trouble at that point. And where is that costume now? Heck if I know. And it ain't my fault if you never find it. The police searched every nook and cranny. No yokai costume was left at the manor. What if it was tossed outside the manor? Wait. Tossed outside and blowing on the wind? Wait. No way! But maybe, just maybe. The defense seems to have hit upon an idea. Well, go on, Mr. Justice. Okay, here's what I think. Mr. Filch, did you get rid of the costume here? Out the window.
Take that!
toss it out the window? Because that would certainly explain why it didn't turn up inside the manor. You think I tossed it out the window? That costume cost me a pretty penny. So why would I go and do something like that? I can think of a few reasons. Any bright ideas, Apollo? Well, assuming the costume really was tossed out from the window, then the next question would be, what happened to it after that? And if I'm right, I might have just the thing to prove what happened to the costume. Phineas Filch, I have just the evidence for you. You do? This evidence proves you got rid of your Tenmataro costume through the window. Is it the, flying through the air?
Take that!
That's... Tenmataro flying through the sky? And just how does that prove Mr. Filch threw his costume out the window? It's quite simple. That's not Tenmataro in the photo, it's the costume Mr. Filch threw out. Aw, that's a crazy talk. You ain't serious, are ya? There's a steep cliff right outside the foyer window, meaning the manor's pretty high up. The costume flew through the air after it was tossed out. That's when the photo was taken. In other words, the photo of Tenmataro really was a flight of fancy. What? Yikes! Oh my, so there really never was a yokai. Aw, I can't keep any own caps bagged. Can I still file a claim for the lost costume? This more than proves the defense's position. Jinxie Tenma had nothing to do with staging the yokai sighting. Care to raise any objections, Prosecutor Blackquill? None whatsoever. I'll talk to Tracy Tanuki after I've dealt with this case. We did it! Good going! Now all we have to do is make Florent LaBelle take the stand.
Objection!
Sheathing the sword a bit early, are we not? Huh? Nothing has been proven beyond a doubt. Take this tricksy little Tanuki, for instance. How do you suppose he was able to exit the Forbidden Chamber? Probably the same way he got in, through the chamber's air vent. And what of the feathers and tracks? Feathers and tracks, feathers and tracks, feathers and tracks. At the scene of the crime! They would suggest that the Tanuki exited through the chamber door, not the air vent.
Objection!
This episode should be called Turnabout Feathers and Tracks. But the Forbidden Chamber doesn't open from the inside. So what you're saying makes no sense. Right? Someone on the outside opened the door for you. Isn't that right? Yep, that's right, Mr. Blackjack. The door suddenly sprung right open.
Hold it!
Sprung right open? Who was on the other side? Didn't get a good look on account of the sudden glare. Like how the reflection from my head blinds fellow moviegoers emerging from the dark. That's when I snatched the staff and made my daring escape. And then that little maid gal spotted me as I hightailed it down the hall. That means the Forbidden Chamber wasn't open until after the crime was discovered. But wait, we still don't know who opened it. Maybe there really was a third person in the Fox Chamber?
Objection!
Well, you little Tanuki, when the Forbidden Chamber opened, did you see the accused pass out there? Nope. Only there was an alderman, and he was dead as a doornail. The accused wasn't there. What do you suppose he was up to? I don't like where this is going. Oh, don't tell me. Plainly, the only one who could have opened the Forbidden Chamber was the accused Damien Tenma.
Hold it!
Wait a second! There had to be somebody else besides Mayor Tenma there. Really? And what might that be? And who might that be? Oh, well, that would be...
Objection!
It seems our fight feisty little lass here has forgotten the most important thing. Evidence. I didn't forget. I was just testing your attention to details. Miss Sykes, you can't prove your point without proof of some sort. It's a proven fact. Sorry. Guess I put my foot in my mouth again. No, Athena, we're definitely onto something here. We are? Think about it. If Filch was stuck inside the Forbidden Chamber, one of the alibis we heard would no longer hold any water. The defense would like to call a new witness to the stand. Someone who knew Mr. Filch was stuck in the Forbidden Chamber. And by virtue of knowing this, has an alibi that no longer adds up. Not that insufferable. Very well, the court will hear what Mr. Justice has to say. Whose alibi no longer adds up? Well, Mr. LaBelle, of course.
Take that!
Why, that's the defendant's aide, Florence LaBelle. Didn't he claim to be in the foyer at the time of the crime? True, but in his alibi, he also claimed Mr. Filch was in the foyer, too. However, as we all know, Mr. Filch was not there with Mr. LaBelle at that time. In short, Mr. LaBelle's alibi has disappeared. Florence LaBelle's alibi was one big lie. Isn't that right, Mr. Filch? I reckon there ain't no keeping that cat in the bag here, neither. It was all Mr. LaBelle's idea. He told me he'd button his lip about me breaking into the Forbidden Chamber, and in return he said we'd vouch for each other's alibi. Shame on you, Mr. Filch. Perjury is a serious crime, you know. Ah, shucks. Mercy, your honorship, mercy! Ah! I also assert that the person who opened the Forbidden Chamber for Mr. Filch was none other than Florence LaBelle. After all, his alibi has just been proven to be a complete fabrication. I see. We will take a 20-minute recess, after which time we will see what Mr. LaBelle has to say for himself. Yes! Finally going to drag that slippery snake onto the stand. In the meantime, the prosecution will question Mr. LaBelle about these new allegations. We did it, Apollo! We finally dragged Mr. LaBelle into court! Yeah. And hey, why the long face? I can't help but feel I'm missing something important. Plus, Prosecutor Blackwell's bound to mount a counterattack. You really are a worrywart, aren't you? It'll be fine! That mystery figure who opened the Forbidden Chamber for Mr. Filch? Had to have been Florence LaBelle. I know, but that's not what's bugging me. I wish I could put my finger on it, though. How about the fact that our client wasn't there? At any rate, the big showdown with Mr. LaBelle is up next, so chin up, Apollo! And the fact that no one else was in the Fox chamber when Jinxie came in. Oh, his hair is green now. Now he looks like the Joker. And court is back in session. Our next witnesses. Yes, I'm acting on behalf of the mayor in this very important matter. It seems the witnesses are predisposed at the moment. Ah ha ha ha. Surely you jest. I will hold you to your promise. Remember that. Oh, my deepest apologies. This is Florence LaBelle, personal aide to Mayor Tenma, or should I say, the accused. Ouch. The poor mayor hasn't suffered enough. Well, what business do you have with me? I'm a very busy man, so let's make this as brief as possible. Your boldness. Oh, right. Mr. Filch's testimony has revealed a whole alibi. And for the reason you are suspected of having some sort of connection with the case at hand. To think I'd be associated with this entirely lurid affair. Well, I'm not. So may I go? Now, I have very important matters to attend to.
Objection!
I don't think so, Mr. LaBelle. Do you realize what a serious crime you've committed? Witness, you are being accused of perjury. This is your chance to clear the air. Fine. The truth is, I faked my alibi for a very good reason. The mayor was obviously the killer, so I created a fake alibi to confuse the matter. You see, as his personal aide, I felt I had to protect him. Sorry. You think this is funny? Without your alibi, you're a suspect too. What were you really doing at the time of the crime? Peasants, how dare you accuse me, one of beautiful people, of being... Stop stalling and tell the court where you were really during the time of the crime.
Silence.
Enough jabbering. Swords have been drawn. The time for talk is past. Swords? What swords? This is a duel to the death. The fate of the accused rests in our hand. Begone, ye of cowardly hearts. The battlefield hath no place for ye. Again. Oh my. Spare me, please! We're not wasting any time here. This might be a shorter thing. He's already out of his shackles. So much for sturdier shackles. Ah! Those chains hindered my vow that heads would roll this day. This gives keeping your head in court a whole new meaning. Will the witness please deliver the accused death knell? You know of what I speak. Ah! Ha ha ha! Most certainly. His goose is already cooked. Time to stick a fork in it. Whatever he has to say can't be good. As I told Prosecutor Blackwell during the recess, I rushed right over to the Fox chamber when I heard little Jinxie scream. What? Then, drumroll please, I saw Mayor Tenma opening the Forbidden Chamber doors. But... there you have it. The mystery man who opened the chamber door was witnessed by one famous village. It was the accused. There was never any third party. Oh, and that's not all. I heard something quite startling there at the scene of the crime. Startling sounds bad. Oh no, he didn't. The mayor, who was barely conscious, muttered this. Oh, he did. He did hear it. Oh no. If you recall how we ended the last part. Forgive me, JC, I killed the alderman. That's right, the mayor actually confessed to the murder right then and there. He confessed? This is bad news. Order in the court. And this is quite conclusive testimony if it stands. Just so. And quite astonishing, I might add. I only learned of this fact during the recess. I just love surprises, don't you? That's why I saved the best for last. Consider it a gift from me to you. No way. I don't believe Mr. LaBelle heard the mayor confess. But is this really true? Did Mayor Tenma really confess? It is indeed. During that last recess, I confirmed it with the mayor's daughter. It would seem Mayor Tenma actually did confess. That testimony is quite favorable to the prosecution's. This is LaBelle. Yes, I called earlier about the party reservations. That's right, and I'll be calling my little shindig Mayor Tenma's Conviction Gala. A splendid time's guaranteed for all but the mayor and his defense. Well, as it seems our witness is a very busy man, let's get right to his testimony. Mr. LaBelle, please tell us what you saw when you came upon the scene of the crime. I was in the hallway, hiding in the shadows. That's when I heard the confession. Upon learning of her father's crime, little Jinxie fled without ever noticing me. Immediately after that, the mayor came to, stood up, and opened the Forbidden Chamber. As I ran in terror, the demon emerged from his prison. In shock, I fled down the hallway to my right, to the one with the phone at the end. Wasn't Jinxie there? There's no one else in the hall. She called the police. They passed each other in a bend at the hall. That contradicts that. I must say, this is a shocking revelation. Quite unexpected. To think the defendant actually confessed then and there to his crime. Perhaps the guilt was too much to bear. Oh, perhaps the guilt was too much to bear, so he confided in his daughter. You do realize you should not have withheld such crucial testimony from the court. Once again, sorry. It's just I feared being accused if I mentioned coming upon that most unpleasant scene. Why did the mayor's confession have to be brought up by this guy? Better do something before the judge declares the mayor guilty. As a death row inmate once told me in years gone by, there's a time to fight, and a time to yield, a time to live and a time to die. Ugh. He's laying it on real thick now. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. Okay, I have problems with everything that you have to say here, LaBelle.
Hold it!
So, after you fled to the hallway with the phone at the end, Tenma Taro ran off toward the foyer? Precisely. Notice any inconsistencies, Apollo? Well, Jinxie also saw Tenma Taro, right? She did. She said they passed each other in the hall after she made the call to the police. Well, if LaBelle had fled down the hall where the phone is, Jinxie would have seen him when she was returning from making her call. Oh, right. And if she saw him, she would have definitely asked him for help. Right. Just doesn't make any sense. Time to review the evidence. Okay. If we don't find a way to poke the whole maritime is guilty, it's bad, very bad. We need to find inconsistency. It's all over, we can't find it. Okay. I just wanted to make sure, because you always have to press before you present, because sometimes it's like, oh, you've done it too early, or whatever, so.
Objection!
Just checking all my P's and Q's, crossing the T's and dotting the I's. Florence LaBelle, you're lying about having witnessed these events from the hallway. What on earth do you mean? Yes, fill the rest of us in, Mr. Justice. If Mr. LaBelle had really fled down into the hall with the phone in it, he would have crossed paths with Miss Tenma. What's this? After she discovered the crime scene, she immediately went to call the police. Then after making her call, she went back to the main hallway. Whereupon she encountered the demon, yokai, or whatever you want to call it. As for me, I call it Phineas Filch in a Tenma Taro costume. The encounter happened right here, where the hallways meet. As for Mr. LaBelle, if he had fled here, feigning escape from the yokai imposter, well, yes, the two would have crossed paths. Right, except Ms. Tenma told us that there was no one else in the hall. In short, Ms. Tenma did not see you in the hall because you were never really there. My eyes, my beautiful eyes! Huh, not such a fabulous scent now, is it? But, Mr. Justice, the witness also stated that he heard the mayor confess. If he was lying about hearing the confession from the hall, then where was he when he heard it? Inside the Fox Chamber. Where else? But isn't that within the very crime scene? It is, Your Honor. And that means he's not really a witness. Rather, he's the third party I've been alleging this whole time. What? You think I'm the killer? How dare you? true man knows when he is beaten. A shield of lies comes not before a foe with the sword of truth bared. Prosecutor Blackwell, what are you? I thought we were on the same side. You are mistaken. There are no sides here, save my cold, steely edge of judgment. You are alone upon this battlefield, with naught but your lies and sickly sweet perfume. Whoa, what just happened? Blackwell's really tearing into him. You heard the mayor's confession from the inside, did you not, you deviant dandy? For the sole location from which you could have seen and heard the mayor and the Tanuki, without either of them noticing you, was right there in the Fox Chamber. Oh my. So that's how it's going to be. Fine. I'll come clean then. Seriously? You admit to being there in the Fox Chamber? I do. I did enter the room after the murder. But I was afraid of being falsely accused, so I lied about it. I feel terrible about lying like that, but it's a verbal cologne I use to protect myself. Give it a rest, dude. You'd better explain yourself, Mr. LaBelle. Yes, of course. I was just about to get to that. The witness is skating on thin ice. I'll remind you that perjury is a very serious crime. Now let's hear your testimony again, this time without your perfume of lies. I did enter the Fox Chamber after murder, but I didn't enter until after Jinxie had heard the confession and left. I heard the mayor groan and hid behind the folding screen there. What I saw there up close, it was absolutely horrifying. So you see, I was there, but merely watching from behind the screen. From behind the screen? Well, yes, I believe you wouldn't be spotted if you were there. Just so you could see everything without being spotted by the victim with Tanuki Filch. Suffice to say, he was mere witness to the events rather than an actual third party. This guy's as slippery as an eel. Apollo! You think he's telling the truth? Well, he was in the Fox Chamber, so at least that much must be true. The defense may cross-examine our slightly voyeuristic witness. Alright.
Hold it!
I think I'm back to pressing everything. Or nearly everything. Why didn't you enter right away? And ruin my designer shoes. Your shoes? Even now, just thinking about getting blood on my fabulous footwear. It sends chills down my spine, that's why I hesitated.
Objection!
That's terrible. A man was dying and another injured, and you're worried about your shoes?
Silence!
Need I remind you, this is a court of law. We are not teaching morality here. We have schools of etiquette and such for trivial pursuits. Gah! Now, you listen to me, you deceptive dandy. Get to the point and be quick about it. Yes, well, I was there in the Fox Chamber, but...
Hold it!
Wait a second. Why did you hide yourself? Oh my, so you do understand. I do. By hiding, I was concealing my fabulous beauty, which for the sake of the universe is something I should never ever do. That's what you were thinking, right? I'm sensing a black hole of egocentricity forming around the witness stand. We can deliberate his mental process another time. Get on with the testimony. Now. Well, regarding the murder scene. Yeah, it doesn't make sense that... Oh no, because he would probably thought that... Or he's going to say that he thought that he was going to kill him if he knew that he was witnessing it.
Hold it!
Could you describe the crime scene in a bit more detail? And what, exactly, would you like details about? Ooh, feathers and tracks, feathers and tracks. This case should be called Feathers and Tracks. The Forbidden Chamber. Let's talk about the Forbidden Chamber. Could you please describe the Forbidden Chamber at the time? It was shut tight until the mayor opened it. I was really trying to stress that it was the mayor who opened it. That big liar, he opened it himself. Whoa. If looks could kill, LaBelle would be toast. Well, Mr. Justice, do you consider his statement to be any importance? Let me just see what happens with it. Let's add it to testimony. Shut tight until the mayor opened it.
Hold it!
Let's ask about the feathers and tracks. I think... Because I can't argue the folding screen... Whoops, I didn't. I was holding down the touch screen. There's not. Because the
Hold it!
the screen helped us open it. What do you remember about the yokai feathers and tracks? They resulted when Tenmataro exited the Forbidden Chamber. He came out quite a rush, scattering feathers this way and that. Did you immediately know it was Mr. Filch? I did, and that's why I suggested we cook up our alibis together. And how did those practice sessions go? They were nearly the death of me. Filchy has to be the worst student ever. He really doesn't think he's done anything wrong, does he? Maybe? Weren't there before the Fox Chamber was opened. Right, that makes sense. And we know that Jinxie didn't see them when she stumbled upon the crime scene.
Hold it!
You know what, I'm gonna do this again because last time it seemed to give me like a little hint. It was like, oh hey, look at the evidence. I already had him add this to the... I've already had him add the statement to the testimony. Okay, it's the same thing. Alright.
Hold it!
Press everything. They were left there by Mr. Filch, weren't they? They were, indeed, and it was quite a shock when I saw that yokai. I can imagine how terrifying it must have been to see this face emerging from the darkness. Okay, so he's not even a reality TV grade handsome. Can we move on now? Apollo, you think that statement's important? I don't think there's anything particularly unusual there, so let's keep going. Okay. That's what I figured.
Hold it!
So let's go back to the Forbidden Chamber. Because I didn't press that extra. Okay. Now we press this. Forbidden Chamber was shut tight until...
Hold it!
You're lying about the mayor opening the Forbidden Chamber, aren't you? In a sense, yes, it could be seen as a lie. Wait, so you admit it? In this world riddled with deceit, my beauty is the only self-evident truth. That is to say, all else except me is but fiction and lies. The nerve of this guy. His testimony is riddled with lies. Looks like I won't be getting anything useful out of this statement. Okay. Fine.
Hold it!
Then let's talk about the last thing. The murder weapon. Why not? Could you describe the state of the weapons that had been used at the scene? The spear had been thrust all the way through Alderman Cuby. Then there was that statue the Alderman used to bludgeon Mayor Tenma. That incredibly inspiring symbol had fallen to the floor. Alright, the statue. But why would you find it inspiring? What exactly did you find the statue inspiring? Well, when I saw that statue, I felt as if the merger had been realized. It was like a celebration of union between town and village, an inspiring symbol of goodwill. A broken statue next to a bloody corpse. Real inspiring. You just messed up, buddy. Well, Mr. Justice, do you consider a statement to be of any importance? Absolutely. Please add it to your testimony. That to be extremely important. I request that it be added to the testimony. All the typos. I apologize for the typos. Okay. Because Jinxie's the only one who knows what it originally looked like.
Objection!
You fool! Your lies have finally betrayed you, Mr. LaBelle. What possibly could you mean? You said the statue was like a celebration of union between town and village. Isn't that correct? It is indeed, but what of it? The two yokai are joining hands in goodwill. As if they were celebrating the municipal merger. Something the matter. So, how did you really know that the statue was meant to be a symbol of goodwill again? What? Justice Dono, explain yourself. And make it quick. This statue was meant to symbolize goodwill in its original form, but that was a secret. A secret? Whatever do you mean? What I mean is that it broke when somebody used it to strike Mayor Tenma on the head. What's left clearly makes the two look like the two yokai are battling it out. Makes it look like the two yokai are battling it out. The statue's secret and its true form were lost inside that locked room. For Miss Tenma is the only living soul who should know what it once looked like. So, Mr. LaBelle, where could you have possibly seen the statue in its original form? What do you mean, where? The only possible answer is this. You saw the statue in its original form. Right here in the room when the alderman was murdered before it was broken. How dare you! Mr. Justice, are you accusing the witness of some sort of crime? Yes. Yes, I am. Florent LaBelle, I accuse you of the murder of Alderman Rex Kyubi. Order! Mr. LaBelle, you've been accused of murder. Do you have anything to say to your defense? How could you possibly accuse me, the embodiment of beauty? Way to go, Apollo! This is the conclusive evidence we needed. Magnifico! We've got you now. We know you killed the alderman. Now admit it.
Silence.
Enough of your silly games, Justice Dono. This prancing peacock could not possibly be the killer.
Objection!
What are you talking about? His alibi has already crumbled to dust. And I just proved that he was in the Fox chamber while it was still locked tight.
Silence.
Why could he have not seen the statue in its true form before the murder? After all, he was close friends with the alderman. Ergo, Yes, that's right. I clearly remember it now. Alderman Hubie told me about it. About what the statue actually looked like. I mean, he was a good friend of mine.
Objection!
Yeah, right. He wouldn't show you a secret gift just like that.
Silence.
Moreover, it has already been proven that he was not present at the scene of the crime. It has? Forgotten, have we? Recall the little statement, if you will. When Jinxie Tenma unlocked the Fox chamber, she saw the alderman and the mayor collapse there. And no one else. Oh, dang it. The fact is, it was you two who made that apparent yesterday in court session. Thus, Florent the Bell could not possibly have been in that locked room. I just don't get it. How could Jinxie not have seen the bell? The proof is incontrovertible. No room for debate exists. Am I not right, Your Holiness? It does seem awfully conclusive. The facts point to the defendant and victim being the only people in that locked room. Moreover, the defendant has already confessed.
Objection! Silence.
You cannot defend the indefensible. Your role in this charade is over, Justice Dono. But Your boldness. This trial would last an eternity if we were to keep crossing blades with these simpletons. It is high time you brought down the hammer of justice. A point well made. I believe it's time to declare verdict. This court finds the defendant Damien Tenma. Ka! It would seem that my time is at hand. Mayor Tenma. Counselor, there's a matter of which I must testify. I recall it now only for your good graces. Counselor? Oh, right, he must be me. Has he finally remembered what happened before that blow to his head? Bailiff, don't just stand there. Seize him. It's no good. I can't restrain him. Ka, know me in despair. For I am Tenma Taro, demon lord of the yokai. Mr. Justice, do something. Since when am I responsible for court security? Apollo, this is our chance. We might get some new information out of him. Your Honor, seeing as our client has something new to say, I believe due process demands that we hear him out, even if he is a yokai. When you put it that way. Still, I believe testimony by a yokai is unprecedented in the legal world. Unprecedented in absurdity, more like. All right then, Mr. Damien Tenma, should I say Mr. Tenma Taro, your testimony, please. I shall now speak of recollections most real, courtesy of my host, Damien Tenma. Heed these words, mortals, for hear them, but once you shall. Ka. Not really, I can go through them at any time. I can go back and forth through them, actually. So, I will hear them more than once. Ruler of Demon. Barely conscious was Damien there amid the darkness. Suddenly two yokai did appear. On one side, I, Tenma Taro, ruler of demonkind. On the other, the nine-tailed fox. So is the defense asserting that the room he was in was very dark at the time? Strange as it may be, yes, indeed, all was darkness. And the part about Tenma Taro and the nine-tailed fox being there? Yes, that too. Tenma Taro towered overhead, and the nine-tailed fox glittered gold. I call animal abuse, Your Honor! It would seem the defendant's recollections are not to be trusted. Yes, well, truth be told, my host's recollections are still a bit fuzzy. As if half-dreamt. That happening lingers in his mind. Apollo, maybe I can help here. Really? Oh, you mean... Yeah, I can hear it. The discord in his heart. I sense an unusual emotion in the mayor's memory of the event. Okay, just hope our findings don't come back to haunt us. Again. Okay. Makes sense. The happiness isn't weird. The happiness isn't weird. But it is the changing emotion. So do we want to... mark that? Because it's not... he's gonna stay sad and afraid. So let's do it. Then the Nine-Tailed Fox appeared. You're not only experienced shock and sadness, but also something like joy as well. Joy. Perhaps it was joy at the light coming to my eyes at long last. A long and terrible creaking to pierce the silence. And then there was light. On reflection, it was a door that did produce that infernal racket. A creaking door. The Forbidden Chamber. Oh, you must be talking about the Forbidden Chamber door. It does make a lot of noise. So this means the Forbidden Chamber really was opened. But what about the sudden light he described? I think I know. He mentioned darkness and Tenmataro towering overhead. Maybe the mayor wasn't really in the Fox Chamber at the time of the crime. He was in the Forbidden Chamber!
Take that!
The Forbidden Chamber. Was it not the Fox Chamber where the murder did occur? Yes, but it all makes sense if you were in the Forbidden Chamber. The terrible creaking sound was probably the Forbidden Chamber's door opening. And the towering Tenmataro you saw, most likely the Forbidden Chamber statue. Why, yes! That would explain it. The darkness and the staff in the demon's grasp. But even if all that's true, then what about the Nine-Tailed Fox? Maybe he was seeing things, just like Jinxie and her imaginary yokai? Fantastico, Apollo! It's entirely possible! In a groggy, dream-like state, people can misremember things and events. Misremember, you say? Let me think. Ah, I do believe I remember now. That was not the Nine-Tailed Fox. It was... the Amazing Nine-Tails. Okay, I was guessing it was the mask, because the mask is still important. What? The Amazing Nine-Tails? At first, this was a dream, I thought, but now, however, most clearly do recall. It was the Amazing Nine-Tails who did open the Forbidden Chamber's door. Okay. I'm sorry I asked. The Amazing Nine-Tails, but that was the victim, Alderman QB, right? Yeah, why would he open the Forbidden Chamber? Wasn't he trying to keep it sealed? Never mind that, this is completely new information. Let me enter it and run an update. Alright, good. Oh, that's new. Why were you upset about that, buddy? when the amazing Ninetales opened the chamber, banishing the darkness within, you felt joy, but didn't you also feel shock and sadness? Yes, in the hazy depths of my mind, I do recall something of that nature. I believe it was the fiend's cape of red. For when I did behold it, a great wave of sadness did inexplicably wash over me. Why? A cape of red. Blood? Apollo, we've reduced the noise level. Oh, but there's still a little left. Mayor Tenma, why were you sad when you saw the red cape? Why indeed. What could this mean? I guess his memory's still a little spotty. I know because his latest recollection contradicts the evidence. Yeah, it's one of those contradictions that slaps you right across the face. Something this obvious could arise when someone's trying to force a fuzzy memory into definitive shape. Apollo, I know what you have to do. You need to present evidence that contradicts the image you see. So it's basically the same as the usual cross-examination process. Okay, time to review the evidence. Look out. Contradictions, here comes justice. It's the red cape doesn't match the costume of the guy. So there must be blood involved over here. I can't believe how important this wrestler has gotten. You said the amazing Ninetales cape was red. Are you sure about that? Yes, well, I do believe it was a red cape I saw, but... Mayor Tenma, does this cape look red to you? Oh, that certainly does not look red. Not even scarlet or crimson either. Nevertheless, upon my liberation, something red did fill me, my as yet hazy field of view. And I thought to myself, the amazing Ninetales is arrayed in a cape of red. So you mistook that red something for his cape, huh? Apparently so, and remembering it now brings a great sadness upon me. So the red something probably wasn't a cape after all. Maybe that great sadness he mentioned is what's interfering with his memory. Well, he would have seen the fox chamber behind the amazing Ninetales. What red object could he have seen there that would have been that shocking? I know. Could it have been blood? Oh, wait, no, over here. The crimes.
Take that!
Something red that could produce a deep sadness. Could it be, Mr. Tenma, that what you saw was the alderman's blood? Blood? Why, yes. It was blood. He is freaking out. It's all coming back to me now. It was a red cape that I saw. It was lying behind the amazing Ninetales, the alderman's bloody body. Eek! Therapy session over. His noise level is down to 0. I think he's remembered everything now. Does this mean the amazing Ninetales killed Alderman Cubey? But the alderman was the amazing Ninetales, so how exactly would that work? Hey, I asked you first. Well, Mr. Justice, you sure know how to make a complicated matter even more complicated. True, but at the time of the crime, our client was in the Forbidden Chamber. Moreover...
Silence!
Don't you think this strange? The little scamp has already confirmed her father to be in the Fox Chamber. But she said not about seeing the amazing Ninetales there. You just had to bring that up, didn't you? Jinxie didn't see LaBelle there either. It's so weird. Who really was in that room then? The defense could share any theories with the court. Can you explain the inconsistency between the defendant's testimony and his daughter's? Not really. but I'll try. Yes, of course I can explain it, because if I don't, we're in serious trouble. Bluffing to the max! More of your bluffs and fairy tales, I trust. Fair warning, Justice Stone. I shall have your head if you fail to explain this. Yep. What about a good old-fashioned penalty? Oh, well, Mr. Justice, let's see if you have a head worth keeping on your shoulders. First of all, Mr. LaBelle was definitely in the Fox Chamber when it was locked. We also know that Mayor Tenma was in the Forbidden Chamber based on his testimony. Was LaBelle disguised as the mayor? These two facts are crucial to my explanation. So let's consider the following question. If the facts point to Florent LaBelle and the victim being there at the scene, why did Jinxie Tenma see her father, Mayor Tenma, and the victim? Very good question indeed. I suppose you have an answer for us? Sadly, you would be supposing wrong. Do you think she had mistaken LaBelle for the mayor? Well, if she did, the question is, why did she do that? Well, how about that explanation, Mr. Justice? I believe the time for questions is over. Defense asserts that Florent LaBelle was at the scene of the crime. However, Jinxie Tenma has testified that she saw her father collapse there. She has, in fact, misremembered the event. What could have made her choose so? Okay. That was my thought. The figure Miss Tenma saw was not her father. It was Florent LaBelle disguised as Damien Tenma.
Silence!
That is a complete impossibility. Their faces are utterly unlike. How could you explain that away with mere disguise? Yes, they both do have incredibly distinctive faces. Maybe the disguise completely hid his face? I think Jinxie would have mentioned if she couldn't see her father's face. And if it was that sort of disguise, wouldn't she have removed it? Alright. Not if it was a charm. Your sword is as dull as your mind, Justice Dono. Shall I show you what truly sharp blade is capable of? I think I'll pass. Ah! I'm definitely on the right track, though, because it hasn't penalized me. If charms were covering... What if charms were covering his face? Jinxie wouldn't remove that. Are you okay, Apollo? I'm not fine, am I? Well, now that we have that little fairy tale out of the way, your baldness, your verdict, if you will. It's just simply time for a verdict, if you have no further arguments. What's even left for me to do? Apollo! Remember what Mr. Bright always says. When you're stuck in a tight spot, turn the case upside down. Turn the case upside down? He does say that, doesn't he? But I don't quite see how it applies here. Still, never hurts to give it a try, I guess. Let's see. Rather than Jinxie didn't remove the disguise, maybe she couldn't remove it. And rather than she didn't tell anyone about the disguise, maybe it was she couldn't talk about it. Wrestler's mask is more precious than his own life. He never unmasked himself in front of others. But there are matches for wrestlers battling for right. Your mask torn off is the worst humiliation a wrestler can suffer. That's why their masks are more important than life itself. What about the fact that it was the amazing Ninetales who opened the door? A mask that can't be removed in front of others. Do these facts turn things around? We got it all backwards. Apollo? I think we might have made a huge mistake. Your baldness. I see no need to further indulge him in this silly little farce. The defense has no proof. They never did and they never will. And then it seems I must announce my verdict.
Objection!
Ooh, it was all zoomed, like the letters were moving again. I do have proof. All right, but this better be good, Mr. Justice. Oh, it's good. We can solve the remaining riddles by turning all of our assumptions upside down. Why Jinxie Tenma mistook Mr. LaBelle for her father. Why she couldn't remove the costume, or tell anyone about it in the first place. These riddles are inextricably linked to the Mayor Tenma's secret identity. A shocking secret identity that will turn the entire premise of this case upside down. This piece of evidence clearly reveals Mayor Tenma's secret identity. Is it the mask? What am I doing here?
Take that!
What absolute laptrap. Poppycock. Balderdash. We thought the alderman was the Amazing Ninetales and the mayor was Tenma Taro. That's why we believed the mayor killed the alderman in his lust for Ninetales Vale. And it was the basis for the prosecution's entire case against our client. However, we got the whole thing backwards. Mayor Tenma wasn't Tenma Taro at all, he was the Amazing Ninetales. What's this? You'd best explain yourself, Justice Doe, and from where you derived such a far-fetched conclusion. Jinxie, no doubt, knew the true identity of the Amazing Ninetales, but she couldn't tell anyone no matter what. That's why she didn't say it was the Amazing Ninetales she saw passed out. Even though, unbeknownst to her, it was really Florent LaBelle in disguise.
Silence!
The accused and the deceitful Dante are utterly dissimilar in physical build and voice. The little scamp would have seen the difference.
Objection!
Remember, Mr. LaBelle has his very own brand of cosmetics. Why couldn't he fake a different build, too? And anyone speaking through a mask would naturally sound different.
Silence!
Why did she not simply pull the mask off?
Objection!
A masked wrestler's disguise is more precious than life itself. As a huge fan of the Amazing Ninetales, she would never dare unmask him. This case of mistaken identity also explains the riddle of the locked room. And by all means, Mr. Justice answered for us already. First, Mr. LaBelle entered the room where the mayor and the alderman were talking. I suppose he brought with him coffee laced with some sort of sedative. Once the alderman was out cold... Hey look, it's the opening cutscene. That's when Mr. LaBelle killed him. Next he took the mayor, who had also drugged, into the Forbidden Chamber. Then he returned to the Fox Chamber, slipped into some of the mayor's spare clothes, and completed the disguise by donning the Amazing Ninetales mask. With his entire charade in place, Mr. LaBelle then let out a scream. A scream that led Jinxie Tenma to the scene. So then, the person who said I killed Alderman QB was... Yep, that was Florent LaBelle in disguise. The mayor never actually confessed.
Silence!
This is no more than guesswork and speculation. Now stop your jabbering.
Objection!
No, you twisted samurai. This time, you stop your jabbering and let me finish making my case. Once Miss Tenma left the scene, Mr. LaBelle, still wearing the mayor's clothes and mask, opened the Forbidden Chamber. So he could drag the mayor back out into the Fox Chamber. Oh, so the Amazing Ninetales the mayor saw was... Right, it was LaBelle opening the Forbidden Chamber. The second time Mr. LaBelle opened the door to the Forbidden Chamber, he happened to catch the thieving Mr. Filch by surprise. Startled, Mr. Filch in his Tenmataro disguise ran as fast as he could away from the room. As he did, he left behind him a trail of feathers and tracks, and gave Miss Tenma the scare of her life in the hallway. With no one left to witness the events that had occurred, Mr. LaBelle then proceeded to drag the sleeping mayor back into the fox chamber. I see. Well, that certainly does make sense. Then, after dragging the mayor back into the fox chamber, Mr. LaBelle threw the mask out the window and fled the room.
Silence.
For this absurd theory to work, it requires that the defendant be the Amazing Ninetales. However, he was the one pushing for the municipal merger. That such an individual could possibly be the Amazing Ninetales is preposterous.
Objection!
The mayor was blackmailed into pursuing the merger. Miss Tenma's life would have been in danger if he had openly voiced his opposition. That's why he created a secret identity as the Amazing Ninetales. This is madness! No one could possibly hatch such an insane plot. No one except a killer as insane as his plot, and I'd say Florent LaBelle is that more than qualifies. Foolish mortal, it is at your own peril that you forget who I am. Mayor Tenma is okay now. Jinxie will be safe just as soon as Mr. LaBelle is arrested. You are the Amazing Ninetales, aren't you? You have quite the active imagination. Mayor Tenma is not the Amazing Ninetales.
Objection!
What do you mean? Well, has the mayor admitted to it yet? But that's just... And even if he did admit to such nonsense, I would reveal the truth behind Tenmataro right here now. What? Why you? You would dare reveal the secret? My good friend, the alderman, told me all about it, but it wouldn't be good to expose the truth, what with superstitions. Now, would it? The truth behind Tenmataro? What's he talking about? So go ahead, say it. Say I am the Amazing Ninetales. I dare you.
Objection!
Wait! Will somebody please explain what's going on here? Mayor Tenma would do anything to keep the truth behind Tenmataro a secret. A dark, terrible truth that has been kept secret by the village superstitions. Is he talking about, like... Is he trying to put the whole thing on his daughter being possessed again? If the mayor admits to being the Amazing Ninetales, he'll expose the truth. Right! I won't have him walking free because of some nonsense you made up. So what now, Justice Tono? Without the mayor's admission, your theory is as useless as you are in battle. I'll show you who's useless. Apollo! Don't you dare give up now! I know. Your Honor, I believe Mr. LaBelle's statements warrant a thorough cross-examination. After all, the true identity of the Amazing Ninetales is the cornerstone of this case. You do have a point there. Please answer the court, Mr. LaBelle. Is the defendant the Amazing Ninetales or not? The Amazing Ninetales' true identity is not Mayor Tenma. The mayor would never admit to such utter nonsense. But if he did admit to such nonsense, I will expose the truth behind Tenmataro right here and now. And that would bring ruin upon Ninetales Vale, just as the superstitions say. Talk about out of the pot and into the fire. At this rate, the mayor would be found guilty for sure. Honestly speaking, if Mayor Damien Tenma is not the Amazing Ninetales, I'm afraid I don't see how the defense has much of a case here. And let's just leave it at that, shall we? We all know Alderman Cupid was the Amazing Ninetales, anyway. I mean, that's how Ninetales Vale made a comeback. The Alderman was so popular. There's gotta be a hole in that testimony somewhere. don't even know where to start. Since we don't have any proof that the mayor is the Amazing Ninetales, then we'll just have to get him to admit it himself. But if he admits it, LaBelle's going to expose the secret behind Tenmataro. We're so close, I know it. Defense may cross-examine a witness. Press everything. It's press everything time.
Hold it!
This whole case only makes sense if the mayor's the Amazing Ninetales. I know you used his mask to create the illusion of lottery murder.
Silence!
Nothing more than idle speculation. You've no evidence now, have you?
Objection!
Mr. LaBelle knows what the statue originally looked like. That means he had to be in the Fox chamber while it was still locked tight. Sorry, but I heard about the statue from Alderman Hubie. If you don't believe me, just ask him. Oh, but what's that? The Alderman's dead? Looks like the joke's on you, my sweaty little friend. Apollo, mind if I wring his neck? Wait in line, because I'm going first. Temper, anyway.
Hold it!
The only nonsense here in this court is you and your assertions. Such anger and terrible for the skin, you know. Beauty is like a flower that blooms forth from serene heart. Excuse me? I wouldn't expect a wilted peasant like you to understand. Perhaps this fragrance will help the blossom within you bloom. Okay, maybe not press everything. This is just fluff now. You like that, didn't you? Enough jabbering about blossoms and whatnot. Get on with your testimony before I slice you into a bouquet of cut flowers. Oh dear, please excuse me. As I was saying, assertion of our wilted attorney is sort of nonsense.
Hold it!
This is what I want to know about. And just how did you learn of the so-called truth behind Tenmataro? Alderman Cupid told me all about it. The secret of the Forbidden Chamber and the truth behind Tenmataro. Why would he share secrets like that with you, Mr. LaBelle? Because of the Alderman's wife. I was looking after her while she was hospitalized. He appreciated it so much he shared the secrets with me. Wait, did he threaten the Alderman in addition to the mayor? Tell me that's how he learned how to open the Forbidden Chamber. Needless to say, I'm not above revealing the truth behind Tenmataro.
Hold it!
Do not gaze upon Tenmataro. Do not tell others if you see him. Isn't that what the village superstitions say? Exactly. Telling others what Tenmataro looks like would reveal the truth. That's why the superstitions were written down in the first place. And ruin coming to the village if you free him. Isn't that a warning not to expose the truth? Bingo! And that truth is Tenmataro's great inspiring fortune. That's what the whole battle over Ninetales Vale is all about. Tenmataro is a great fortune? Come to think of it. Get rich quick chance. Could Tenmataro actually be? Mayor Tenma? This treasure. Telling the villagers that Tenmataro is a terrifying yokai is what has scared them away from the Forbidden Chamber and the treasure within. That's how the treasure has been kept secret all this time. Well. It seems our attorney here has uncovered the truth that must not be revealed. Mayor Tenma looks like he wants to keep the truth hidden as much as I do. Tragedy is doomed to repeat itself as long as Tenmataro exists. That's why the secret must be protected. Yes, but there's no treasure anymore. It's been pilfered. Tenmataro exists, huh? Yeah, he doesn't exist anymore then. It's gone. Mr. LaBelle, please add that statement to your testimony.
Objection!
Mr. LaBelle, what if Tenmataro no longer existed? Revealing the truth would no longer be an issue, would it? If Tenmataro no longer existed... What on earth are you talking about? Oh, apparently you haven't heard. Tenmataro no longer exists. But I guess you didn't get to do a thorough search after the key was taken from you. Because when we searched the Forbidden Chamber, there wasn't any treasure there. Really? Well, maybe you weren't looking in the right place. Sorry, but I have proof that Tenmataro no longer exists. Take a look at this figure. What do we have here? It looks like some sort of creature. We found this in the Forbidden Chamber. It's an Azuki Kozo figure. The great thief Azuki Kozo used to leave them at the scene of the crime. Are you suggesting that Tenmataro has been stolen? Yep. Phineas Village's grandfather, a master thief, was the culprit. And by that hideous, moronic caretaker's grandfather, no less. No! But my beautiful golden Tenmataro was... The greed inspired by Tenmataro can no longer bring ruin upon Ninetales Vale. Isn't that right, Mayor Tenma? The root of tragedy would indeed seem to be gone. In fact, I now recall the alderman revealing the secret to me on the day of our meeting. He must have been speaking of Tenmataro. For he said that to me, the gold ingot was gone. The gold ingot? You mean the treasure that is Tenmataro's true form? Recall, if you will, a scroll in the Forbidden Chamber. Tenmataro is the yellowish object shown there. A giant gold ingot that my nomadic ancestors bestowed upon Ninetales Vale. In return for that gold my ancestors did receive from Ninetales Vale. And that would be land that would become Tenma Town. But sure, the villagers mad with greed to that great fortune. Bitter was their greed-fueled battle. Was as if they were possessed. My ancestors' gold became a curse upon their village, a curse of ruin. Thus it was that the yokai Tenmataro came to be. So Tenmataro and the village superstitions were merely fairy tales to scare people away. Fairy tale or not, Tenmataro made quite a mess of things. Yes, indeed, for there is no greater monster than a mortal man's lust for gold. Well, you know what they say, the love of money is the root of all evil. My ancestors did bring a terrible thing here to Ninetales Vale. A thing so terrible that Tenmataro, a monster just as terrible, had to be created to keep it secret. Yet we have naught but love for the little village to which we owe our very existence. Tenma Town would never seek to take over Ninetales Vale in a merger. Oh my, that was quite a shocking lesson in history. Mr. Mayor, now that we know Tenmataro no longer exists, are you ready to admit your secret? You are the amazing Ninetales, aren't you? No! Don't do it! Please, no! It's over. Begone, you demented demon. No, where was I? The golden amazing Ninetales is indeed. Ha 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 ha. And that means... Jinxie? Yes? The man wearing the mayor's clothes, who you saw collapse in Spot's chamber, is he wearing the amazing Ninetales mask? That's what made me think it was Papa. He said he was going to reveal a secret identity to Alderman Kiwi that day, so... So it really wasn't Papa I saw there, was it? It was Floyd's idea from the start. He advised me to reveal my secret identity to the Alderman. Yeesh, Goldberg machines have less elaborate setups than LaBelle's scheme. Maybe we're seizing now, Jim. See, that monster's deception is through. Caw. The true facts behind this case have finally come to light. Mayor Tenma did not kill Alderman Kyubi, but Florent LaBelle did. How dare you, peasant! Ah! No!
Silence.
You have more to say? It's not over yet? Come on, man! We've all but proven everything! Justice don't know. You should at least have a real blade in your hands if you desire to cross swords with me. Or have you mistaken this battlefield for a training ground? What does this guy want now? Evidence is like a razor-sharp blade that cuts through bones though it were butter. But you have only blind guesses, a dull blade incapable of cutting even a cake. As you there, Mr. Justice. After all, evidence is everything in a court of law. But they're right. Let's see some evidence. Of course, a perfect meat like me wouldn't leave any incriminating evidence behind. It's the final battle. Just a samurai must live and die by the sword. You will live or die by the evidence you hold. My swift blade of judgment awaits. Oh, don't worry, I have a plan. Now present your conclusive evidence, or don't you have any? Oh, crud. Do I have anything conclusive? Yes, I do. This is why. It is official that he is the Ninetales. The fact that white hair was found inside here shows that it was not him who was wearing it. Evidence? Oh, I have evidence. You do? Of course. It's just the conclusive evidence we need, too. I'm going to finally prove Mayor Tenma innocent. Here comes justice. Oh, here it is. Okay. This is like the zoom in logic link thing that I was talking about. I kept alluding to it in the last case, but this is the first time we're doing it. So, let's review the facts. The most evidence against the mayor is the crime scene itself. The mayor and the victim, the only two people found in the room. I might as well just speak it as he does. Also, we all thought the alderman was killed because he was the Amazing Ninetales. But as we know now, of course, we were way off. The Amazing Ninetales is really Mayor Damien Tenma. That's why when his daughter Jinxie saw the Amazing Ninetales collapse at the scene, she mistook him for her father. Those are the facts we have revealed. However, Mr. LaBelle asserts that he did not leave any evidence at the scene of the crime. But he didn't say anything about evidence outside of the crime scene. Maybe he isn't as clever as he thinks he is. Any of the evidence found outside the crime scene prove any clues. The Amazing Ninetales mask. Oh, it's up here and down there too. Okay. The mask, yes. Okay, is that the mask? Oh, I know, the Amazing Ninetales mask. It was found washed up along the river. What sort of clue does the mask hurt? The white hair. White hair in the mask. What about the hair left in the mask? Bell. The white hair is Florent LaBelle's. Oh, right, that hair is Florent LaBelle's. Yes, now that's what I call conclusive evidence. Zoom out. Well, Mr. Justice, do you have any conclusive evidence to present to this court? Of course I do. Observe this mask, if you will. I like that little, logic thing, because I think that it helps with us following the logic of the game. Like, if we didn't know it, it walks us through it. So that's cool. Observe this mask, if you will. That mask, how is that conclusive evidence? It's not the mask itself, but the white hair inside it. We originally thought it belonged to Alderman Rex Kyubi. Yes, but the Amazing Ninetales, as we now know, is Mayor Tenma, so... That's correct. So the question is, whose hair could this be? And the answer to that is the last person to have worn it before it was discarded. That would be you, Mr. Florent LaBelle. What are you talking about? I never had hideous white hair like that.
Silence.
here. Coup de grace failed to hit his mark. His freakish fob is not the white hair type. Because he's busy being one ludicrously garish color of another.
Objection!
No, Prosecutor Blackwell. It's you who has made a fatal error. Oh, it was washed up in the river, and water washes the dye away. What? Remember where this mask was found? Washed up by the side of the river? With that in mind...
Take that!
That's... What is that? This is Mr. LaBelle's own private brand of hair color. It washes out with water. The court will also recall that the Amazing Ninetales mask washed up along the side of the village river with white hair inside it. What's this? Are you saying that preening Peacock's hair color is... That's exactly what I'm saying. Mr. LaBelle's hair color is freaky work of fiction. But thanks to the river flowing through Ninetales Vale, we now have a real-life expose. The white hair in this mask is conclusive evidence proving you're the real killer. The DNA test is all we need to prove it, and we both know you were gonna match. Admit it. Florent LaBelle, you were the one who killed Alderman Rex Kyubi. You. Peasant. How dare you! Ah! Profane my beauty like a bug on the... I'm gonna exterminate you as I did to the Alderman. Ah! Oh, that looks noxious. Hello, this is LaBelle. What? The project is off? This is LaBelle. The sponsors have pulled out. LaBelle speaking. I'm fired. You mean I'm no longer Mayor Tenma's aide? Hello, this is LaBelle. What? There's a stratospheric damages claim against me? $100 million? I'm finished, washed up. Stick a fork in me. I'm done. This is preposterous. I, Simon Blackwell, defeated? Order in the court. Quite the unexpected outcome. I must hand it to you, Mr. Justice. You really turned this case on its head. Just like that other lawyer, Phoenix Wright. Aw, thanks. Oh, wait, that was a compliment, right? Prosecutor Blackwell, what have you done with Florent LaBelle? The defaced man has witnessed... The defaced man had withered like a flower without water. One of the officers is currently tending to him with a sprinkler. Wouldn't that just wash even more of his makeup off? Allow me to explain the actions of the guilty party in detail. The motive, of course, was to steal the gold ingot known as the Tenmataro. However few are allowed into the manor due to its cultural ties to Ninetales Vale, LaBelle set in motion plans to gain access to the manor and the gold within. Via the murder. But the efforts of the Amazing Ninetales showed these plans came to a halt. And thus LaBelle murdered the alderman and attempted to pin the blame on Mayor Tenma. You won't do the opening statements, but you'll do the closing ones. I see, but what I still can't comprehend is why he would go after the gold in the first place. Mr. LaBelle doesn't look like someone who is in need of financial aid. LaBelle hid his past well, much like he hid his beauty with makeup. He's mired in debt. Debt due to pouring money into a brand only he could love. Which is why he sought the gold with such ferocity. Too bad for him. Someone else had gotten to it first anyway. I see. Very well, then. I believe it's time I declare the verdict. This court finds the defendant Damien Tenma. Nobody went into that chamber. I mean, like, not even the aldermen to be like, oh, let me check on the gold, and, oh, this is the reason for all of this. Oh, hey, it's gone. Ugh. It's sad when it's like a pointless murder, because he murdered him for something that was already gone. I believe it's time to declare a verdict. This court finds the defendant, Damien Tenma, not guilty. Yay! Court is adjourned. Oh boy. That was some seriously good lawyering, Apollo. Even I didn't see that coming. Just got lucky, I guess. You banished Tenma Taro from Ninetail's Vale like you were some kind of exorcist. There's still one thing I don't understand. How come Mr. LaBelle didn't kill Mayor Tenma, too? He could have set it up so the mayor murdered the alderman and died in a counterattack. That would have removed at least one possible fly from the ointment. I was wondering about that, too. But I have a hunch LaBelle was biding his time. He was planning on exposing the Amazing Ninetail's true identity himself. Huh? But why? Because the mayor was the Amazing Ninetails. Had LaBelle succeeded in framing Mayor Tenma for the alderman's murder, the wrestler's popularity would have plummeted once his identity was revealed. Oh, I get it. If the Amazing Ninetails was just killed, he'd die a hero, but if he was proved villain, his fans would abandon him, making the merger that much easier. Right. And when the merger was complete and everything cooled down, he'd be able to search the forbidden chamber at his leisure. What an insanely intricate plot. Caw, a most excellent job clearing my name. A feat worthy of the Demon Lord's approval. Why are you acting like Tenma Taro again? Let this be of no concern to you. How could it not concern me? Tenma Taro, be gone! Yeah! Jeez, seems like ages since I've laid eyes on you. Papa, you're finally back. Yes, you see, Tenma Taro is no match for you. Haha. I'm not scared of that silly yokai anymore. Your father's a free man now, Jinxie. Isn't that great? Thank you for all you've done. Seeing you guys in action, it made me feel like I don't have to be afraid anymore. Wait, is Jinxie actually smiling? It's all thanks to you two. Too bad the Amazing Ninetails will have to retire, though. Aww. How come? Once everyone hears I'm the Amazing Ninetails, my fan base will nosedive. After all, I'm not the most popular of people. I have a reason for my secret identity. I don't see how I could possibly continue. I think you've misjudged yourself. Take a look outside. Say, now that you mention it, what's all that noise out there? A big crowd gathered outside the courthouse once the news broke. Seems they want to get a glimpse of the Mayor Damien Tenma, the man behind the mask, and to root for your return to the wrestling ring. Rooting for me. I thought it was nothing more than a malefactor in their eyes. The only one who really matters is Jinxie. Show her how cool you really are. Yeah, you're the coolest when you're out there fighting in the ring, Papa. Jinxie. Here, I think you'll be needing this.
Take that!
Thank you. Now, if you would excuse me. I don't want to keep my fans waiting.
Ninetails Vale forever!
sure hope they can settle the problems between Tenma Town and Ninetails Vale. Me too. I'm sure they'll be fine. After all, the blackmailer/killer is behind bars, and the merger's no longer an issue. Plus, the Amazing Ninetales is obviously still a hit, and I suspect Ninetales Vale will be too. And it's all because we believed in our client, just like you said. Okay, people. Now that we've got that one in the bag, let's go get something to eat. I'm starving. Sounds good. I've been so nervous I haven't eaten since yesterday. Better keep eating, Apollo. Or you might have to start looking up at me. Huh? I'm definitely past my growth phase, and you should be about past yours too. Are you kidding me? I'm just getting started. Ready or not, it's face stuffing time. Keep eating like that, and the only direction you'll grow is sideways. Very funny. But I've got a hollow leg. I can eat just as much as I want without gaining an ounce. Really? Wow, I can't wait to see this. Calories? Ha! Just let them try to stick on me. Alright, alrighty, you two. Let's get going before the old man closes shop. Eldune's Noodles isn't an all-night stand, you know. I'm with Mr. Wright. Let's go. I've been waiting to have a bowl from there ever since Mr. Wright told me about them. Well, what are we waiting for? The noodles are on me today, so I expect some serious eating from you two. Yay! Thanks, boss. I won't let you down. Athena has no idea what she's getting into. Mr. Eldune's noodles are so hot and salty. 2 bowls would kill a man. That was our first case together. And it felt like nothing could bring us down after that. The dark age of the law seemed so distant, so irrelevant to our small, cozy office. But little did I know that it had been lurking all along, right there behind us. The first time it made itself known was during the murder at Themis Legal Academy. That case would mark the twilight before the dark, cold night that was to come. They keep hinting at the next episodes, which is new and different. Also, this upcoming one is my favorite. This is the one that I have played more than once. So, a good one, some twists and turns, a lot of things to be figured out and seen and mysteries to uncover. A lot of history there. The yokai thing is a lot, but I like how it comes to the point of like, oh, it was just about the greed and stuff. Like I said, this series kind of skirts on the line of reality, because spirit channeling is something that is canon in this world, even though we're not necessarily there right now because of Phoenix Wright games being over. But yeah, overall, fun case, interesting characters. It was interesting to see Tenma just kind of like pull out all the stops and release his inhibitions and just pretend to be a yokai for a while. That was just weird. But anyway, I am most excited about the upcoming episode, which is the Turnabout Academy. And we will see what happens there. Because I think we're still in flashback mode. And this is still taking place before the bombing of the courthouse. So, yeah, I think it's like first case goes and it introduces everything, and then Apollo leaves, and then Athena goes on to her flashback, and then it's going to go back up to the case that the bombing happened in, where Apollo was at the defense and such. But anyway, oh, and on top of that, we met our new prosecutor, the Twisted Samurai, Simon Blackwell, with his power of suggestion and all of that fun stuff. So he's there. And, as always, the prosecutors just totally control the courtroom. Forget the judge. He's just there to do as the prosecutors say, apparently. But anyway, we'll see you next time for the next case, Turnabout Academy, my favorite case of the game, the only one I've played more than once. I'll talk to you guys then.